Explore Roomba at iRobot.com. Jerry Jones still hasn't given Dak Prescott a long-term deal, and it could be because of Carson Wentz. Some are speculating that the Eagles did more harm than good when signing Wentz to a 4-year, $129 million extension last summer. Wentz leads the league in picks this season with 14, and his Eagles are just 3-6-1. But moving on from Wentz would cost the Eagles nearly $80 million this season, and it would cost them just under $25 million to cut the quarterback next season. So, Shannon, how much should Wentz's struggles impact Jerry's thinking on Dak?
It shouldn't impact it at all, Skip. First of all, Jerry can't do a long-term deal with Dak until after the season because Dak signed that franchise tag tender, Skip. There is no negotiating during this period. So once the season's over, they can start in the free agent, see when the opens up, they can get a contract. Skip, when has Jerry Jones ever done anything because someone else did it? Skip, remember, he's the only one that doesn't revenue share. He does his own thing. When everybody else was doing coke, where did Jerry go, Skip? He went with Pepsi. When everybody did Ticketmaster, he started his own ticket broker. Jerry gave Tyron Smith a 10-year deal when you could barely get a 5-year deal with an offensive lineman. So he gave Zeke $16 million. When everybody said the running back position is dead, Jerry said, I don't care what y'all say, I do me. So Jerry, Skip, you know Jerry better than anybody. Mm-hmm. Jerry does things his way. And just when you say Jerry shouldn't do it, or Jerry ain't gonna do that, Jerry gonna do just the opposite of what you think he's gonna do. But you don't run your team based on how someone else runs their team. You do you. And Dak has shown how valuable he is, not only on the field, but off it also. Now, considering how they've looked thus far, Skip, I believe had Dak been healthy, they would not be 3-7. But they are. So I don't think Jerry's going to let Carson Wentz situation, because that situation is totally different. Jerry understands. He saw what it was like when he didn't have a number one receiver. He saw what it was like when he didn't have Tyron Smith and he didn't have Zeke Elliott. He saw what it's like. That's what Carson Wentz going through. Now, I'm not excusing Wentz for his play because he's made some horrible throws and some horrible decisions. But Jerry Jones has been around the game and understands the game well enough. Know that you need a supporting cast. And so I don't think the situation that's transpiring in Philly will have any bearing on what Jerry does with Dak.
Yet, what has happened to the man you call walk it to him, Wentz, that I've now renamed give it to him, Wentz, what has happened has given Jerry the chance to privately gloat and say, I tried to tell everybody, you got to be careful. You better look before you leap on these kinds of deals.
What about with Deshaun? Should he gloat about that? Because they gave Deshaun $39 million.
What if I told you from the start, as much as I love Dak, he ain't no Deshaun. What is Deshaun doing now? Did you see what he did to Belichick's defense the other day?
Yes.
He is playing at a supremely high level. He is right there, just below Mahomes' level of performance.
Had they won some more games, he would be getting into MVP.
He would. There's no doubt. I loved him coming out of Clemson when he nearly beat St. Nick's defense twice and got him the second time.
Yep.
He is clutch. He is mobile. He's got it all.
He got it all.
Okay, and he doesn't even have his soulmate receiver. They took him away, and he's still doing it.
They gave him a running back.
Yeah.
That's injured.
Yeah. That wasn't very good to begin with at this point in his career. Okay, so Jerry's saying you just got to watch. With the quarterback, it's the one, if you plunge on a Carson Wentz and it ain't right, you are so stuck because even if they want to get rid of him next year, it'd be $60 million in dead money.
Spread over 2 years, so that's $30 million.
Oh. If you wait till 2022, you're still looking at almost $40 million in dead money. It's deadly to a franchise if you commit to a quarterback like this.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you don't commit, the price goes up. It's not getting any cheaper. And I don't believe Dak is going to cut them a deal because, Skip, if you think about it, my homeboy deal, he's getting less money than all these other quarterbacks that signed in the first 3 years. That's unheard of when he's clearly the best quarterback, the best player in the game.
But he said, I want to be a Chief for life.
Right.
And he got it.
Everybody else ain't thinking like that. That's Tom Brady. Tom Brady did that, took less money so we could build and build. But everybody else said, give me mine.
Okay, so I don't know exactly what to believe on all the reports, but I'm going to take sort of all of them combined.
Right.
And I'm going to say that Jerry offered Dak somewhere around $36 million a year for 5 years.
Okay.
He wanted the extra year.
Right.
And that there was somewhere around 120 guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Carson Wentz got 4 years, 128 million with the 108 guaranteed, 32 million a year. So he went up, I don't know, 3-4 million
Right.
on the annual, and he went considerably up on the overall guarantee.
Okay.
In fact, I think Jane Slater went as high as 180 million was to be guaranteed at signing. It was a lot.
$80 million signing bonus at the time of signing.
Yeah, but I think it was that number
120.
guaranteed at signing. Yes.
The 88, he's
Okay,
gonna
all
get.
right.
He signed his name, Dakota
Right.
Prescott.
Okay.
$80 million out the door.
Okay, and obviously Dak agent that they wanted to get up in the Mahomes range. They wanted to go above 40 million.
Right.
And Jerry said, too rich for even my blood because I don't know enough yet. Okay, so what I love Dak Prescott, but I don't like crazy defend him. I don't blindly defend him because you say he deserves his money. You say Dallas would have been better than 3-7. Well, I hope they would have been a little better than 3-7 with Dak. But let's just quickly look back at what has happened to Dak Prescott. He was 6-11 in his last 17 starts. Is that worth $40+ million? Would you have plunged on that? Would you have given him 40? You said you would have.
Yeah, because if you had somebody else, you might have been 0-17 in your last 17 starts.
Okay, but it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you could really be damned if you do on this one, because let's just quickly think about what happened. He got off to a hot start last year against 3 teams you said were garbage, right?
Yeah.
And then over the last 13 games, Pro Football Focus ranked him the 15th best quarterback, and 7 times you gave Fs to him for performances at New Orleans when they scored 10 points and lost to Teddy Bridgewater 12-10.
Yep.
Green Bay, they fell behind 31-3 after in the second quarter. And what do you always tell me? You get the ball too, right?
Exactly.
So is Dak somewhat to blame for that?
Right.
Yes, somewhat. At Jets, they fall behind 21-3 in the second quarter. You're rooting your guts out up at Denver, watching this game. And Dak rallies them as he always does. He's the ultimate fourth quarter warrior.
Yeah.
But they fall short 24-22 because he is a little off target with the throw to Jason Witten on a 2-point
Jason
conversion.
Witten got a touchdown the other night.
He did. Did you see that? That was a blast from the past. It was a good day for Dallas Cowboys, right? Then at New England last year, Dak scores 9 points and they lose 13-9. Against Buffalo on Thanksgiving, here we are about a year later, they're down 26-7 in the fourth quarter. And then at Chicago, they're down 24-7 after 3 quarters. And then at Philly, he scores 9 points. This is the guy who wants $40 million.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. They offered him 36. Do you believe he's going to get less or more than 36 per year moving forward?
You mean on the open market or from Dallas?
From Dallas.
I don't know.
Well,
it's going to have to go up a little bit.
Exactly. So you franchise him, Skip. Now think about it. That's $38 million on your cap. There is no spreading that out over.
Okay, I believe he will be franchised a second time next year.
Yeah.
And I think Jerry's going to sit back with arms folded up in his suite up there on his throne, and he's going to say, show me. Because Dak's going to come off a pretty serious injury.
Right.
Did you lose a little bit of mobility?
Right. So, okay, he gave him what? How much was it? $31 million this year? $31 million. 38 next year. That's $69 million. Then it jumps.
This year is 34.
It's 34
right?
million.
Yeah.
So if he gives him 38 next year, that'll be 72 million. What's the franchise tag? 51. So now you're at
No, that third year's out of bounds.
Yeah. So that's 123 over 3 years you'd have gave him. Now, if you'd have gave him what you wanted, you could have spread that out over and boom, boom.
Okay, I got it. But you say they would be much better than 3-7 this year. Okay, now look at what happened this year. He played very well at L.A. against the Rams and came within a bad call to me of winning the game. But that was his one and only good game because then they come home. They're down 29-10 to Atlanta at halftime.
Right.
Is that good for Dak Prescott? No. At Seattle, they're down 30-15 in the third quarter. That's no good. Home Cleveland, they're down 41-14 after 3 quarters. Dak has some blame there, right?
Yeah.
And then the Giants, the game he got hurt in, they're down 17-3 to the Giants in the second quarter. Is Dak somewhat responsible?
Yep.
Well, Shannon Sharp says absolutely. Look at the games I just gave you. Is that enough to deserve $40 million? No, it's not.
Yeah.
It is not.
Got to pay him, Skip.
6-11? Well, you want him just to wreck my salary
No, he ain't
cap.
gonna wreck your salary cap, but Skip, you're asking him to give you the 5th year when you get. So what did you give him early? So you want him to give you 5 years.
Yeah.
He wants 4 years. You got to realize when Carson Wentz gave you 4, Carson Wentz still had 2 years left on his deal.
Are you ready to say Carson Wentz is a bust?
I ain't ready to say that.
Okay. Well, how do you figure that he's got 18 turnovers right now, which are 5 clear of any other individual?
Well, Brady coming.
And more.
Brady coming.
No, he doesn't have 18.
He coming, though.
Carson Wentz has more turnovers than 29 other teams have total.
If we're going to say Carson Wentz have regressed, can we say Doug Peterson has also regressed?
Well, if you want to spread the blame,
we should.
Deflect the blame off the quarterback.
So what? How much credit did he get for that Super Bowl? He showed at the front of the podium over there talking about smoking a cigar, talking about Philly special, Philly special.
I told you there's just one player who scares me in the NFC least right now, and it's Jalen Hurts, the backup quarterback in Philadelphia. If he gets that job the rest of the way, I'm sunk, because he will light it up.
All right, well, we got to talk about another quarterback here is Patrick Mahomes actually getting too much credit for being a copycat. I will explain what I mean here.
Now we get to the truth.
No.